As a kid sitting on the bus, I would think of the most outlandish things and tell my parents what I saw. In 1937, Dr. Seuss wrote, "And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street," encapsulating the innocence and excitement of a little boy. Whether it be going on a space adventure while jumping on your trampoline, or meeting the president in the grocery store, we all had these outlandish thoughts. Quoting Terry Pratchett, "Stories of imagination tend to upset those without one. We need to keep in mind that our imaginations keep us sane. Even the simplest of curious passion that for something that doesn't exist makes our lives bearable." And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street by Dr. Seuss. When I leave home to walk to school, Dad always says to me, "Marco, keep your eyelids up and see what you can see." But when I tell him where I've been and what I think I've seen, he looks at me sternly and says, "Ya eyesight's much too keen. Stop telling such outlandish tales. Stop turning minnows into whales." So, what can I say when I get home today? Because all the long way to school and all the way back, I've looked and I've kept careful track, but all that I've noticed, except my own 2 feet, was a horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. That's nothing to tell of. That won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story. That's only a start. I'll say a zebra was pulling the cart, and say that makes a story no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Yes, the zebra's fine, but it's such a shame. Such a marvelous beast with the cart that's so tame. But the story would really be better to hear if the driver I saw were a charioteer, a gold and blue chariot, something to meet, rumbling like thunder down Mulberry Street. That won't do it all. A zebra's too small. A reindeer. He's better, he's fast, and he's fleet. And he'd look mighty smart down on Mulberry Street. Hold on a minute. There's something wrong. A reindeer hates the way it feels to pull a thing that runs on wheels. He'd be much happier instead if he could pull a fancy sled. A reindeer in a sleigh. Say anyone could think of that. Jack or Fred or Joe or Nader. But it isn't too late to make one little change. A sleigh and an elephant. Now that's something strange. I'll pick one with plenty of power and size. A blue one with plenty of fun in his eyes. And then just to give him a little more tone, I'll have a Raja with rubies perched high on the throne. And say, that makes a story no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. Yeah, but I don't know. It still doesn't seem right. An elephant pulling something so light. He'd look simply grand with a great big brass band. A band so good, someone should hear it. The mayor is there, the aldermen too, and they're all waving banners of of red, white, and blue. With a roar of its motor, an airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. Say, that makes a story no one can beat. When I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But it still could be better. Suppose that I add, no, there's no time for more. I'm almost home. I swung around the corner, dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps, and I felt simply great. For I had a story no one could beat. When I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But Dad just said quite calmly, just drop your stool and tell me the sights you saw on the way home from school. There was so much to tell, I just couldn't begin. And then Dad looked at me sharply and he pulled at his chin. He frowned at me sternly from there in his seat. Was there nothing to look at? No people to greet? Did nothing excite you or make your heart beat? Well, nothing, I said, growing as red as a beet. But a plain old horse and wagon on Mulberry.